everyone. Thanks for joining us. It's Sarina Fazan, and we're on the record. I'm here with Dean Akers, Adjunct CEO,
Yes,
CEO
ma'am.
of Adjunct CEO, and an entrepreneur, and he just helps people fulfill his passion. I had this whole intro that I'm supposed to do, so on and so forth, but the teleprompter is not working. You told me you don't need a teleprompter.
Never need a teleprompter.
No, but Dean, I have to tell you, okay, first of all, Wednesday is my favorite day, and this time is my favorite time because it's my show. I love my show. Okay, but I'm stressed out, and because my email is not working. So can you please first try to calm me down? Because why is it when things fail like that, when your email is not working? In fact, Gabriel, my team member, has been back and forth with me on here. What's your password? Well, I don't know. Do you guys deal with this? I mean, I have 25 passwords, and you keep on having to change the password.
Deal with it all the time. But one of the things I learned years and years ago, and there's actually a book, and it's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff.
Yeah.
And then it goes, comma, it's all small stuff. And the reality is when you look back on yesterday, and I think I've shared with you, my mission right now is just to make today awesome. I don't angst about tomorrow. And I certainly don't angst about yesterday, no matter what happened. And the reason is, it's all me and my math. If I make today awesome, which I help one person every day for no pay, and then I just make today awesome in so many different ways for myself and everything, whether I'm kayaking in a bayou or helping a military guy or working with one of my clients or companies or even my other companies when I own companies, making them awesome, here's how the math works. When I go to bed tonight, assuming I don't pass in my sleep, when I wake up in the morning, I have had an awesome what?
Day.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Now, almost 25 years ago when I started this, I can look you dead in the eye today and tell anybody, your listeners or anything, I've had an awesome 25 years, one day at a time.
So this is the philosophy, and there's so many. I mean, I called you up and I said, can we please have breakfast? And you treated me to breakfast, which was really sweet because I probably should have treated you because I was in one of those, like Dean, please help me. So tell me, and I should have started it this way, tell us what you do.
Well, my passion is helping people, but as a leader, as a young man, I became a leader of a company when I was 27 and a half, and we grew the company from 50 to 100 million in 2 years during a recession of the 80s.
50 to 100 million?
Yeah, in 2 years, in a recession-driven type business. And then I bought my tire company in Tampa, but what I found is a servant leader or leader that cares, and what cares doesn't mean about P&Ls and stuff, but what it means is sharing with your entire team everything and being very transparent. Well, as I've done that, I've helped a lot of people in my career. Most of the people that used to work with me all have their own businesses now or senior executives in companies that I sold or left. When I was 40, I sold my tire company because my dream was to retire. I was home, I don't know, about 6 or 8 weeks, and my wife walked in. She looked at me, and we had 5 boys, and she said, babe, I married you for better or worse, not for lunch. You need to get out of here. So that's when I had people calling me. I was 40, I'd done 2 companies and stuff, and people were calling me. And when you're young and you do 2 things, everybody thinks you got something going on, which really you don't. You just have a lot of good people that you worked with.
He's very humble and very modest.
Well, no, it's true. But at the end of the day, people call me up and they go, could you come help me? And I said, well, I could kind of be like an adjunct CEO. So I started doing that, and people started paying me a decent, real lot of money or whatever. And out of that, doing it 2 or 3 years with a number of different clients that are mega successful companies today, I ended up taking over 2 contracting companies that were in trouble. Now I was a highway contractor, and I did almost $300 million of the highway contractor work in the Tampa Bay area in Florida, and did that until I sold it, and then started Adjunct again. And then I did a company called Ideal Image, which we grew from 1 to 67 locations in 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we grew it and sold it for 180, right at 180 million bucks 6 years later, from a one little med spa on the corner of Kennedy and West Shore. So as I come in and out, now I'm retired again, but I'm retired this time. I'll be 70 next year, so I'm kind of
You look fabulous, by the way.
Well, you're so kind. I'm looking now as to more helping like my sons and people find their passion and monetize it.
Well, you know what? And so that's why, honestly, for the show, the reason why I love this show so much is, we have so many categories and everything, but I felt that you could be so helpful to people with your advice because you were so helpful and always are to me. I want you to share that story about the speaker and tell us why, before you share the story about the speaker, please share why you felt that story was important to share with me and to other people, inspiring to be entrepreneurs.
Well, so many entrepreneurs I meet worry about being competitive or price and all that. And I found in my career it never mattered. And I found out it really didn't matter, like when I was in the tire business. People were more interested. Like I had the big trucking companies go, well, Dean, we need a cheaper price. And I go, but I guarantee 1 hour service or it's free. Mm-hmm. And so they go, we don't care, you're twice as expensive. Well, after their truck would break down at 2 in the morning, the fleet director of one of these big companies calls me and I'm there in 60 minutes. You think they care about paying another 50 or 100 bucks?
Right. No. Okay.
And then they eventually, so that was it. But what happened, the story you're telling, is I had sold my tire company. Mm-hmm. I had gotten involved in public speaking, and I'm a member of the National Speakers Association, and I do speaking engagements. And at any rate, I get a call from one of the national companies saying, would you come speak to our convention? I go, yeah. And they go, how much do you charge? And I started thinking, well, it's at 1 hour. This was 30 years ago. No, 40 years ago. 30 years ago. And I go, $500. And they go, okay. Mm-hmm. Book it. So I book it. I land there. The CEO picks me up.
The CEO picks you up.
Me up for this convention, this big national company. Takes me to the hotel. I got a suite overlooking, the city. I go on for my hour. Everybody's like, yeah, oh, that was the most motivating thing. They take me back to the airport. I leave. I get home and I go, man, I was gone for a day and a half, mm-hmm. and I would charge $500. That's not $500 an hour. It was $500 for the hour.
Right, for the hour and for the whole total.
Yeah.
Like $500 for the speaking engagement.
Yeah. Today, I could equate that to the same amount of time. Mm-hmm. I could drive Uber and make that much money. So then I started thinking about it. I said, well, Dean, you need to be a professional speaker like everybody. Mm-hmm. So I started looking up convention speakers, what they do and stuff. And I'm not talking the Zig Ziglars or, mm-hmm. The guys at the highest level. And I started looking at them and I said, well, 22 grand's about it. I'll be $2,500.
Okay.
So now they call and they go, how much is it to come speak? And I go, $2,500. They go, okay, we'll get back with you. Then they call me back and they go, okay, we'll take you for $2,500 since the contract. So now I get there, I got to schlepp a cab from the airport.
Okay, so no CEO's picking you up.
Nobody's picking me up. I'm just a $2,500 speaker like all the other noisy speakers.
Okay.
I go, they have me on, but if the other guy's running a little late, they don't bump him off, you know, and then they give me a room, but it's a regular old room at the Marriott. It is no suite for sure.
Okay, all right.
And now I schlep it back to the airport in my own car, cab, or whatever, and then I fly back.
And so with the first one again, because the end of the story, I love this story. 500, you have the CEO coming. 2,500, you're schlepping yourself. So then what happens?
So now I get a call, and I don't care about ever doing this again. Now these national companies call me, and they go, how much to come speak for an hour? And I go, 10 grand. They go, do you have an opening? Now when I land, guess who picks me up again?
The CEO.
And guess where I'm staying now?
At a suite.
At a suite.
Okay, what is the moral of this story then? Like how could you go from 500 to 2,500 and then to 10,000? So at 500 you have the CEO picking you up, and at 10,000 you have the CEO picking you up.
It's the value you put in yourself and or your company or product. And I got one other really epic story.
Okay.
Ideal image. 5 locations. Mm-hmm. Everybody's advertising cheap laser hair removal in the newspapers and everywhere and everywhere. So my ladies are all stressing about it because our average sales $1,500 and they're in the paper for $500. So I called my 5 ladies in. This was early on, and I said, "Y'all are gonna make a decision today, not me, not me." And I go, "Let me ask you this: do you carry a purse? Now I'll ask you, Sarina, do you carry a purse?
Of course, I have several purses. Purses that match my outfit, in
Right,
fact.
so if there's any lady listeners out there, they'll totally appreciate this. Why do you carry a purse?
Well, I have lots of things to put in my purse. I have I have my this, I have this, I have makeup, I mean, my wallet.
Yeah.
I've got lots of stuff.
And that's what they said, okay? Now, I know about women's purses. That's another story we're not going to talk about today. But at any rate, I asked the lady, so I said, it's kind of a utility item. Would you carry a purse if it was absolutely empty every day? Would you carry an empty purse everywhere if they could put everything in a microchip and your phone, everything, so there would be nothing in the purse every day? And all of them said, no.
Well, no, or yeah, I guess unless you...
It's totally empty.
Okay, all right, okay.
Every day.
Right, okay.
They all said no. I said, will you ladies do me a favor and put your purses on the table? Which they did. And I said, tell me about, so the purse utility. Tell me about your purse. First girl had a Coach purse or something, like $1,000 or something. The second girl had some kind of Kate Spade or something, whatever. The third one had a brown Louis Vuitton. At the time, they were $2,300 or $2,400. And she goes, $2,300? Didn't know that morning when I was going to come in with this thing that this would happen. The fourth woman had a white Louis Vuitton. And I said, how much was that one? And all the other girls are chuckling because it was like $4,200. And the last girl had a $500, $1,000 purse, doesn't matter. So here's the question I pose, and this is how I answer. So I asked the ladies, I said, so y'all are talking it's so competitive and the price and it's so hard to sell and blah, 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 blah. I got to ask you a question. I opened up an insert that I had out of the Tampa Tribune that day. That's back when there was a Tampa Tribune.
Yes.
And in it was a Walmart insert, and up in the top corner of the Walmart insert was a 100% calfskin brown purse, brass buckle, not made, $39.95. So here's the question I posed to our ladies that day. I said, I got to ask you, Walmart, $500 billion company, largest company on the planet. Louis Vuitton, 30-something million dollar, decent sized company. Do you think the executives and all the salespeople are freaking out that the largest retailer on the planet is coming after them with a $39.95 purse that carries the same stuff your Louis Vuitton purse carries? Do you think they were thinking?
No.
So I leaned up on our conference table. I leaned up on our conference table and I said, you ladies are going to define who we are today. Walmart, $500 billion, good with that. Louis Vuitton, 30-something billion worth of time, good with that. Who do you want to be? And I looked at the first lady, I said, who do you want to be, Walmart or Louis Vuitton? What do you think she said?
Louis Vuitton.
Of course. No, this is epic. This is epic.
Okay,
this is epic.
Okay, all right.
So we get done, and I go, then start acting like it. Well, guess what happened? Our closing ratio doubled, and our average price doubled from the already stupid high price 3 times the competitors. And we sold the company for almost $180 million 7 years later.
Wow. Okay, so as you mentioned that, I want to go back because you've shared the story with the speaker with me so many times. I want people to know the reason why the $2,500 price you said to me you didn't get the special attention is because everybody was doing it.
Correct.
Everybody was doing it. It goes back to the whole Louis Vuitton thing.
Correct.
It's fewer people. You value what you value yourself is what people are going to pay. So speaking of Louis Vuitton, I know, isn't it? I know. Here's so much information I know. What's this stuff as a journalist as you gain? Do you know Louis Vuitton is the only high-end retailer though that never puts anything on sale?
Oh, yeah.
Like you could find something Gucci, Chanel, any major brand, Prada, you could find a sale. But Louis Vuitton years and years ago said, no sale ever. Yeah. And hey, I'm not going to lie, I love my Louis Vuitton purse.
Hey, I would be lying to you to tell you I hadn't bought something in my life. And the point that I've worked with all my teams is making sure that A, you put value in yourself. B, that you deliver real value. And if you do, people will be happy with you. If you charge X and it's bad. I mean, we were talking about earlier before we went online, we were talking with some of the folks about restaurants. At the end of the day, if it's a bad experience at the restaurant, it doesn't matter whether the food was 5 cents. And the flip side, you can go to restaurants where, you'll pay $100 a person, and maybe you don't go there every night, but it's a value. And all my teams, when we mentally start owning our value, it increases our success rate, and it increases our profitability, and honestly, it feels good.
Right. But, okay, we're going to go to a break, because when we come back, I want to talk to you about how do we gain that confidence to present ourselves with our value, right? Don't you think that's a good question?
But we'll at the break. When you come back,
yeah.
We'll
be right back. I'm Sarina Fazan, and like most people, my skin is a priority. When you look good, you feel good. That's why I turned to South Tampa Dermatology, a full-service medical and cosmetic dermatology practice. Dr. Flynn and her dream team offer the products, services, and procedures I need to keep my skin healthy so I can perform at my very best, and they can do the very same thing for you. It's affordable, and your confidence is priceless. Just head to stderm.com or call 813-872-9551 to make an appointment. I'm Sarina Fazan. We're all so busy, and if you're like me, laundry is at the bottom of your to-do list.
If only you could take care of it in a zip, right? Well, I have news for you. With Zips Dry Cleaners in South Tampa, you can. Affordable, fast, and stress-free. That's why Zips is Tampa's favorite dry cleaners. For just 99 cents a pound, Zips will wash and fold your laundry for you. Just drop off your dirty laundry before 9 a.m. and you'll have it back, fresh and clean the very next day. Have dry cleaning too? Drop it off by 9 a.m. and it will be ready the same day by 5 p.m. for just $2.49 an item.
And even more convenient, Zips will drop off your dry cleaning and your laundry for a small added fee. Zips didn't invent dry cleaning, but they perfected it. Stop by and see for yourself. Hi guys, welcome back. I get into so much trouble during the breaks because I can't stop talking. But I'm so excited to have you here. I love people. In fact, I was telling a friend of mine today, he sent me a text and, I always sign off with the green heart. And he said, what's up with the green heart over the red heart? Which I thought, because green is my color, right? So the reason why I mentioned that story is because setting yourself apart, Dean.
Totally.
And that's what you were sharing during the commercial break, because my question is, yes, your value. And I love the story with the Louis Vuitton, and I love the story with the speakers. And I understand that you need to have confidence. But how do you do it? People, myself, I get nervous about it. So how do you do it?
You get nervous about what, though?
Everything. So people say, just ask. Like yesterday, I had a wonderful conversation with the CEO of the Florida Aquarium, Roger German. And he said to me, gosh, anything I can help you with, I'd love to help you with, just let me know. So honestly, truly my dream is, I had a meeting with Tampa General Hospital the other day. I'd love sponsors for my show, because I love this show so much, and I feel we talk about such a variety of topics, and it's not an infomercial, right? So we decide, my team decides who we want on the show, and so many people send us ideas, and we'll carry that idea. I'll invite those people on the show. But that's my passion. My passion is people and sharing stories. But as a journalist, we couldn't even take a cup of coffee, So to be in sales is, for me, pretty tough.
Yeah, but don't look at it as sales. Most people look at it as sales. I look at it as building relationships. When I'm going after a client in all my previous businesses, I budget 2 years. 2 years.
Okay.
And somebody says, why would it take 2 years? I said, it doesn't. The longest it ever took me to get a client, which is a huge client I got, was 15 months. That's the longest it's ever taken me. All my teams, we build relationships. We're genuine. We continue to grow the relationship. And here's where it's just stupid how this works. It's stupid. The customer goes, will you help me? when they ask, will you help me? And they go, how much would it be? And you give them a number and they go, let's do it. Or they go, wow, that's more than I thought. And I go, what did you think? And they go, X. And I said, well, you know what? You asked me for help. I'll throw the lifeline and I'll help you for that. Just to help you right
Wow.
now. 99% of the time, guess what they do?
What?
Send me a contract. You just need to learn to shut up, because most people go, well, I'm the most expensive, and but I'm really worth it. Did I tell you I was a news anchor for a while and blah blah blah? No, just engage them over the course of the year or so, or 2 months or whatever, and just constantly touch them. Like my ninjas, I always ask them, do you know everybody's birthday? I have your birthday.
I know.
Yeah.
And you always send me a card. Whenever I see you, you always send me a handwritten card.
How many people do that?
Very few people do that.
Okay, my ninjas do it, but my ninjas make $1 million plus a year. And everybody else go, well, why do they do that? I go, because they like driving big cars and fancy cars and living on the water and having big houses, but go figure.
And explain the ninja to people who may not know.
So in my companies, I've always have this thing where I call people ninjas, and to get to be ninja status, you have to make 200 grand on a W-2 or 200 grand in income. And in my own companies, when I've always found it's kind of an interesting leadership technique to really hyper-grow sales, is I sit down with my sales team and I go, I'm here for you to make a minimum of 200 grand. How many people go home and tell their wife or husband, this idiot wants me to make 200 grand? Does that happen?
No, point taken, point taken.
No, so then I'm able, my favorite hobby, I probably shouldn't say this on air, but my favorite hobby is beating salespeople over the head with their own stick.
I love it. Okay.
Or CEOs. Because I'll have CEOs go, well, my business is so competitive. I go, no, it's not. You're not even on the deals. So what I do is I get my sales teams to get out and get with the customer that could buy. And I said, don't worry about losing the sale. In fact, I had one company, I paid full commission for every lost sale. Well, I learned when my kids were really little and I was coaching them in T-ball or Little League. Guess what the number one fear for a young person is in Little League?
What, getting hit by a ball?
No, striking out.
Oh,
And
right.
because
okay.
everybody laughs at them.
Oh,
Right?
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Striking out. It's a big fear when they're really little. So what we did is we rewarded strikeouts. And here's what the funny part is. They're not good enough to strike out. What the problem is once you took the fear of striking out, they swung and they would actually hit the ball because they lost the fear of striking out. Well, most people in sales are starting up businesses or growing businesses. You know, I meet these sales where these $9 million, $5 million company, 20 years. I go, how are you that size? They go, well, you know, it's so competitive. And I go, you're not even on the business. You're a rounding error. You're a rounding error.
So do you feel, so people who want to be entrepreneurs or, embrace this entrepreneurship, that they can do it, it's just this mindset
Oh, totally.
that they may need to change?
Yeah, it's a mindset. It's follow your passion. That's what I really recommend. That's what my new role and mission is. I got this one young kid, his passion was skateboarding. I think I showed that to you one time.
Yes.
And his mom thought he was a loser. And so, he worked for somebody, and then we got his passion and taught him how to monetize his passion. My guys out at Special Ops that I'm helping, they all come out and go, well, I want to, I'll probably get a job in this and this. I go, no, that's not your passion. What's your passion? I got one guy, he loves scuba diving. And he tells me, well, scuba diving is so competitive. I said, what do you mean? He goes, scuba diving shops only charge X. And I go, why would that matter to you? He goes, well, it's so competitive. I go, wait a minute. You're going to allow some guy that teaches somebody in a YMCA pool and that they call you up and they go, do you do it? And you should be 5 times, 10 times more. And they go, why are you so expensive? You want to be talking about Navy SEAL or a guy in a YMCA swimming pool?
You know what? Oh my gosh.
You want to be talking with a guy that's done 5,000 dives,
Right.
probably blown up stuff I can't tell you about. I'm not saying he said that, but
Right, no, but he's a Navy SEAL. You're right. You're the best at you're the cream of the crop.
and guess what he's doing now?
Teaching scuba diving.
And guess what? Yeah, I got another one of these guys that's an Army, what do you call it, out of the Army, Ranger. And his passion's jumping out of freaking airplanes. So guess what? He's looking for a JOB about 8 months ago. And I go, no, you're going to start a skydiving school. Guess what he's doing now?
Doing a skydiving
Oh, he
school.
tells me, he'll call me up or text me. He goes, I pushed 40 people out of airplanes this week. He did a big military, he's one of these like master jumpers. He does like Super Bowls and stuff. When he was in, right before he got out, he did this big event, and he comes and he lands, jumps out 10,000 feet, and he lands. And I've been helping him, and he's still in the service. He hadn't transitioned yet. And the minute he lands, he gobbles up his chute, and there's thousands of people there, and he sees me, and he wades through the thing, and he hands me, which is on my desk today, a coin, his victory coin, and he said, "This came with me today from 10,000."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, one of my stories, like you came into the studio and you said, wow, what a beautiful studio. And it's true, but it's like you have to pursue your passion. So I was doing my show out of my offices, which I love, on West Armenia. It's the oldest cigar building in Tampa. So the CEO of CP Communications and Red House Streaming and the general manager were watching my show. So they said, I get a phone call. They said, hey, we have a studio. How would you like it if we carried your show from the set? I mean, what a dream come true. Right now, I'm still plugging away, I feel. But the lesson here is if you do follow your passion, hopefully doors will, or I shouldn't even say hopefully doors. Forget the hopefully, doors will open up.
Absolutely.
How do you get started though? Like I felt like I was living in La La Land, and sometimes I still feel like I am. But for me, it was during this time too, this unprecedented time. And as a journalist, I felt like giving back to the community. I had to interview people and talk to people, and it felt good to do it. But you have to make money too at the same time. So how do people get started, Dean?
Well, first off, they have to build out an assumption business model. And an assumption model puts the things in that they would assume. So it shows variations. Like if I do 2 of these at $100, I made $200, and it pipes over to a financial model. And the reason I've always done that is it allows me to look at subtle changes that can make a big difference. And giving back is not a bad thing at all. So don't ever not do that. But take your passion and make sure that you have a model of how you want that to look. Do you want to be an on-air person for the rest of your life, or do you want to be an on-air person that nurtures, let's say, young women and men?
Right, because I don't know how much longer I could. I support like aging on air, of course.
Okay, but it's not even about the aging. It's about the handoffs. It's not always about, do I look older and I shouldn't be on air? It's more about teaching the people coming up some of the skills you've learned. And maybe you develop a whole production group that you say, okay, if I get this person and I teach them, and then they can go out, and then you got to have a little bit of sales. But the key with sales, a real smart man taught me, don't ever try to sell. Don't ever try to sell. And when I learned that, I never sell. Never. I don't sell. Then customers will say, can you help me? When they ask, can you help me? Guess what?
That's when you sell.
No, that's when it's done.
That's when it's done. I love it.
No, when they go, can you help me? You think that ain't gonna happen? Because who asked?
They ask.
Yeah, we carry these little pins. This one isn't one, but when my ninjas are really learning, they're always shooting themselves in the foot. So I put an audio pin in, and I'll say, just record 2 or 3 of your calls today, and we'll transcribe it, and we'll see. 100% of the time for the last 30 years, when we do that, we see the train wreck before the crash site. Every time. Not ever do we not see the train wreck before the crash site, and it is never the customer. It's never the customer.
It's always us.
Oh yeah, it always is.
So where can people listen to you? Like you do have a podcast.
Yeah, I have.
And how can people reach you? How can people reach you?
The easiest way now is my first name, Dean, D-E-A-N, at Dean Akers, DeanAkers.com, or Dean at AdjunctCEO.com. My podcast is a Sales and Leadership Ninja. If you put that in Apple, all the major networks, it comes up. And I've got listeners that listen every week. And,
it's awesome.
Well, it's crazy because I get people from all over, literally the globe, and they'll reach back out and and they'll ask for additional stuff, or they'll tell me how it changed their kid's life when they had their kid listen to it. And the biggest thing today is there's so much tailwind. This is a whole nother show, but today there's infinite tailwind that people aren't ready for. And that tailwind is the Gen Ys and the millennial. There are 162 million births in that 35-year window. Wow. In the same 35-year window for baby boomer and Xers, there was just a hair over 110, 15 million. So you have a huge tailwind of population coming in right now. So if you're in a business today that services that population, buckle your seatbelt. That's why housing is not going to slow down. The other thing is right now the largest transference of wealth ever in mankind is happening. Because the baby boomers, even off balance sheet wealth, they're passing on or they're setting up a state, they're passing their wealth back down. So this 160-something rich kids, and they're not entitled, by the way. I work with hundreds and hundreds of them. They're not entitled. They're good people. We were entitled. When I was 21 years old, I mean, I'm not going to tell you I didn't inhale, and I'm not going to tell you the Vietnam War was going. We marched. I had hair down to my back. You know, I mean, we were all that. I hear these people my age, they go, we were never like that. And I go, yeah, you were, because I sat there with you. Yeah, you were. You were as worthless as, there's nobody I've met. There's nobody I've met that's 21 now that doesn't have one of these.
I know.
You can text them. When I was 21 and I went home at 5 o'clock after work, guess who could get a hold of me, Sarina?
No one, really.
Exactly. And our guys my age go, well, they don't work like we do. I said, of course they don't. We didn't work.
Well, that's why you were saying that you love TikTok as well. Talk about reaching that audience is TikTok.
Yeah, I love TikTok. And I love TikTok just for the comedy.
I know, for the fun of it.
Oh, my gosh.
So, Dean, as we wrap up the show, for people who may have joined us late, I want you to share the story again about starting your day and how you start your day and how you've done this for 25 years and how truly it makes a difference.
Well, I have a daily prayer. First off, the one thing that's equal, it's the only thing that's equal. It's not height, weight, gender, anything else. All this noise you hear. If anybody would just get and say, forget all the noise, the only thing equal is 24 hours in a day. That's the only thing that's equal. When you understand that and you go and make today awesome, just make it awesome today. You know, find all the, don't worry about your freaking phone or your emails. They'll be there tomorrow, I promise you. You're not going to have to, you don't have to worry about it. If you don't get back with somebody really quick, oh well, guess what? Big deal. At the end of the day, when you go to bed tonight, you will wake up tomorrow morning and guess what you had yesterday?
You had an awesome day.
And I can tell you almost 25 years later, I've had an awesome life, but one day at a time, following that mission, and then I help somebody every day for no pay. And tonight I'm going to be meeting with my special ops guys and, you know, helping them, and I just have a blessed life.
Well, I have a blessed life for you to be in my life. Thank you for helping me. And thank you so much for coming on the show. We so appreciate it. You can follow me on all my social media channels. And of course, oh, there they are, Dean. Is that cool?
Oh,
what
yeah.
they did for me over here? I thought that's really cool. I didn't realize I was on that many channels. Well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. This podcast will be on all the podcast channels tomorrow, but we really appreciate the support and have an awesome day.
Totally. Thank you.